In the golden misty era following the Great Flood, the world felt like one grand interconnected family, moving with a single, rhythmic pulse. The descendants of Noah settled in the sun-drenched plains of Shinar, a land where the horizon seemed to stretch into eternity. In those days, the world was not a patchwork of nations. Every man, woman, and child spoke the same language, using the exact same words for the stars, the soil, and the dreams that kept them awake at night. This linguistic unity was their greatest superpower, a golden thread that bound their hearts into a collective force of nature. But as the population flourished, a restless, dangerous ingenuity began to stir. They were no longer content with the simple stones of the earth. They sought to leave a mark that would outlast time itself. "Come," they said, their eyes gleaming with a new kind of fire. "Let us bake bricks and build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches the very heavens." They manufactured their own stones and used dark, sticky bitumen as mortar, a black glue they believed would hold their grandest ambitions together forever. But the project soon evolved from a feat of engineering into a monument of pure human ego. They feared the vastness of the world and the possibility of being forgotten by history. They wanted to climb so high that they could stand on equal footing with the divine, proving that through their perfect cooperation they lacked nothing, not even a creator. Day and night, the plains of Shinar buzzed with a choreographed dance of terrifying efficiency. Bricks were passed in endless human chains, and the tower grew layer by layer, stabbing through the clouds like a giant sun-baked needle. From the dizzying summit, the earth below began to look like a small, insignificant toy. The higher they climbed, the louder their laughter became, and the more they whispered to themselves that they were finally becoming gods. The Lord looked down from the eternal heights, but he did not see a masterpiece of art. He saw the slow-acting poison of pride beginning to rot the human spirit. He saw that if they continued in this state of arrogant unity, they would eventually destroy themselves in a blind quest for absolute power. To save humanity from its own hollow hubris, he decided to introduce a boundary no amount of mortar could ever cross. "Come, let us go down and confuse their language," the divine decreed. In the space between two heartbeats, the transformation happened. One moment, a mason reached for a brick; the next, the words leaving his mouth were incomprehensible gibberish to his neighbor. Architects shouted urgent orders that sounded like the chirping of birds, and the rhythmic clinking of hammers was replaced by a chaotic, jagged roar of noise. Panic rippled through the scaffolding as men who had worked side by side for decades suddenly looked at each other with suspicion and fear. The invisible thread of unity had snapped. The fires in the kilns died out, and the grand machinery of the city ground to a violent halt. The tower, once meant to be a symbol of eternal glory, was left as a jagged, unfinished scar against the blue sky. Unable to share a single thought, the people fractured into small, isolated tribes that wandered away to the unknown corners of the earth. The city was left to the shifting sands forever named Babel, a word that would echo the sound of confusion through all of history. The great tower eventually crumbled into dust, leaving behind a haunting reminder that true greatness is not found in building monuments to ourselves, but in the humble realization that our voices are most beautiful when they seek to understand rather than to conquer.